Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and on this podcast, we are committed to helping you go from where you are to where you want to be in every area of your life. So we're going to help you do that by helping you live with intention, helping you reshape your mindset, and helping you learn how to look at the world through a grateful lens and understand the full power of that in your life. So first, I want to say thank you for spending some time every Monday, every Mindset Monday, on yourself by listening to this podcast, by watching this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're watching it. It's growing. We're building a community, a culture, a group of people that are committed to learning and growing to become better people so that they can show up in more meaningful ways for the people in their lives. And so, as you know, we all need reminders that we're growing, and we need reminders that it's Monday, a Mindset Monday. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you get notifications when these episodes come out so that you can make sure to start the week by winning the day so that you can make the best week possible. Now, as we have previously talked, we are going to focus a lot on working on you more than we work on your job. And working on yourself will impact in a positive way. I guarantee it will impact you in a positive way. How you act at work, how you show up in your home, how you show up in the community. Because we can't give away something we don't have. We can't give advice to the friends that we care about the most about things that we haven't also done the work. So what I'm committed to, I'm going to be humble here and share some things about my own journey, my own life to pour back into you. But I had to first admit that I needed to take a hard look at myself, take a hard look at my own habits, take a hard look at my lifestyle, my mindset, my decisions I was making. Because remember, this is not a call out. This is a call up. The things you're not changing are the things you're choosing. The things you're not changing are the things you're choosing. So if you're not changing your habits to help you go where you want to go, then you're choosing habits that are preventing you from where you want to be. So that hopefully hits you a little harder today, but really makes you think about what habits do you need to work on to go from where you are to where you want to be. So let's dig in, because I have some things I want to share with you. I'm going to share with you 5 habits that transformed my life in 1 week. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about habits. And today I'm here to remind you that big changes start with the small, intentional steps. We're going to be diving into 5 simple habits that reshaped my life in 1 week, keeping it simple. So I want to uncover how small actions can actually lead to extraordinary transformations, not just changes in our lives, but transformations. But we have to start with one habit. Here's the truth. Transformation doesn't happen by overhauling your entire life overnight. It's a simple mistake that we make oftentimes, try to change everything all at once. It starts with one intentional habit. Pick something small but impactful. It could be simply making your bed, or stretching, or meditating, or being still and grateful before you take your first step of the day. For me, it was something as simple as drinking a full glass of water every morning before I actually put my feet on the ground. That small win kind of set the tone for me for the rest of the day, reminded me that I'm staying committed to my habits. I wake up excited, with intention, grateful, and that glass of water is a reminder that I'm doing something and I'm doing what it takes to take care of myself. And there's multiple studies, scientific studies, that show that drinking water first thing in the morning greatly reduces the cortisol that we all have when we wake up. So if you feel like you're stressed first thing in the morning, it's because of your cortisol. So what's your one habit? Choose it, start it, and let it become the foundation for something much greater. So before you get overwhelmed, let's talk about how to take those micro actions every day. Here's the magic, right? So success isn't about massive one-time efforts. It's about showing up every day, whether it's writing 300 words, your affirmations, your goals, reading 10 pages, or walking for 10 minutes. These small, consistent actions stack up in ways that are more powerful than you can imagine. Now, I hear that people don't have time to commit to new habits all the time. They had time to tell me that, but they don't have time to commit new habits. Those people just have a habit of not committing to habits that help them live a life that they actually want to be living. Get control of your life by stacking these moments and stacking habits together. The belief that 5 minutes of something is helpful is still helpful and more impactful than not doing it at all. Keep those promises that you make to yourself. Become somebody on your own team. Think of an action as a brick in this foundation of your future. And over time, those bricks build something extraordinary. A life filled with purpose and progress, and we have to be willing to commit to laying each brick perfectly. Now, I know that sounds inspiring as well, but how do we do this? We have to protect your focus. Your attention is one of your most valuable assets. And if you want to build this life of intention that we talk about, you have to guard your time fiercely. This week, I turned off notifications and those ribbons to show the number of notifications. To show how many emails and messages I have, I had to turn them off. I scheduled specific times to check my phone. I dedicated focus blocks to my priorities. And it's not easy, right? But I'll tell you, it felt like reclaiming my day and reclaiming my life. Because when you protect your focus, you create space to work on what truly matters. You respond to things instead of reacting. No one is going to do this for you, and you will never get more time. You just have to decide who and what will get your time. We only get 24 hours. Now, how much of that time you spend cherishing and protecting is up to you. How do we maintain this? It sounds inspiring to start it, but how do we maintain it? And you have to reflect and reset on a routine basis. Habits aren't this set it and forget it thing. They need nurturing and tweaking. And every evening, I had to ask myself, what worked today and what could I have done better? What could I do better tomorrow? The belief that I can always improve is reinforced by this daily reflection. It makes me want to be better. Think of this as kind of fine-tuning the engine of your personal growth, or understanding that, this visual of, if the seeds that we're planting aren't sprouting, maybe they need more sunlight or water. Maybe we need to do something differently. You don't just dig up the seed, you care for it differently with intention. So reflection is the key to staying aligned and moving forward with intention. You can't just always be moving forward. You have to be looking back to recognize what you're doing. Now, along the way, we have to learn how to celebrate every step, because being honest, we're much better at being hard on ourselves and not great at celebrating our wins. We feel silly for that. But this week, I needed to make a point to celebrate every small victory, whether it was sticking to a habit or simply resisting a distraction, which is sometimes hard to do. So those little small celebrations kept my energy high and my motivation strong. And they reminded me that, progress, no matter how small, is still progress, is worth celebrating. This celebration habit releases dopamine and a reward system in our brains, and dopamine feels good and we crave it all the time. If you want to feel less stressed, feed your body with more dopamine. And by that, I mean real dopamine. By meditating, practicing gratitude, stretching, sitting in a sauna, spending time with people that bring you joy, spend time in nature, eat nourishing foods. And we all know what we mean when we do those things, how we feel differently. Dedicate time for that. So what's the blueprint, right? For your life, your sweet life. When you combine these 5 habits that I've done, they create this kind of rhythm of intentional living. And, start with one, like we said, layer on the others, stack them, and watch as your life will begin to shift. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Stack the moments, stack your habits. Now, why these habits work together, and, I have to understand that each habit feeds into the next, creating this powerful momentum and this synergy. You start to protect your focus so that you can take daily actions. You reflect to ensure you're right on track, and you celebrate to fuel your momentum. This is how you go from that feeling of just surviving through the day to actually thriving. So the life that you're building can start today. Imagine a life where you're laser focused on what matters most. confidently building towards your dreams, and celebrating every step along the way. This life that I'm talking about is right in front of you. It's within reach. It starts with one habit, one choice, and one moment of commitment. So here's my challenge. Choose one habit before you go to bed tonight. Commit for the next 7 days. 7 days, one day at a time. Then watch, pay attention as those small changes compound into something life-changing. But commit to it for 7 days. And if you stop, start over. This whole living the sweet life, we can start this thing together, one intentional habit at a time. So we're going to dive even further into this as we create this life that you've always dreamed of, but it starts one habit at a time. Remember, your life, your best life, is built on the small, intentional choices you make today. Stay intentional with your daily life and your habits. You can make any life that you want. You just have to remember who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. And throughout time in our lives, we've all set habits, we've set goals, and we have to be honest with ourselves that our confidence to actually maintain those habits and our goals can deplete the more times that we say we're going to do something, but we don't actually do it. So one of the habits that I've had to learn is to keep more promises to myself and respect myself more, to live the life that I actually want to be living. Again, habits are choices. And we've said this before, and I'll say it again, but the habits that you're not changing are the ones you're choosing. And that sounds simple. But if you know you have a habit, as in things you do consistently, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's daily, maybe it's hourly. I hear so many people say, I do this and I know I shouldn't. What is the gap there? The gap is purpose. The gap between knowing better and doing better is purpose. The decision of habits that you set and the way that you change those habits is by owning why does it matter. Because once you start to understand that your habits actually matter, you will start choosing different ones. So I've had to do this in my own life. You know, what time I was going to bed versus what time I was waking up. I had this habit of waking up every single day at 4 a.m. I heard Eric Thomas and some other people say waking up at 4 a.m. was really powerful, but I didn't adjust what time I was going to bed. So then I woke up with less energy than I wanted to, but I was still saying, well, okay, if they all say wake up at 4 a.m., well, I didn't have a plan at 4 a.m. So I had to have a habit of working out and reading and stretching, drinking my water first thing in the morning. So then I had to stack my morning habits to win the morning. You'll read about miracle mornings. People say things all the time about ways that they've been able to take control of certain parts of their day. All of that started exactly where you are, choosing new habits because you want something new, maybe something better, maybe something that gives you energy. So choose some new habits. Choose what you listen to. Choose what you read. Obviously, you're here with me, so you're choosing what you're watching and what you're listening to. But what is the habit that you have after you listen to a podcast, after you watch an episode? Do you stop and reflect, or do you just go on with your day? Because really, the gap between knowledge and wisdom is action. So share it with somebody. Share how you're going to write down your 5 habits and share it with somebody. What is one habit you're willing to commit to? Like we said, for the next 7 days, one small habit. You'll start to realize, how did you make so much progress? And you didn't do it all at once. You started one habit at a time. So I hope this episode resonates with you, maybe calls you up more than you're expecting today. But commit to one habit because you deserve it. And maybe somebody that you know in your life, somebody close to you, is going to see that you're starting to commit to some new habits. You probably will inspire them to do the same. Never underestimate the impact that you can have on the people in your life, and understanding that maybe you have a habit now that maybe isn't helping you have a better relationship with them or making you show up in a meaningful way for them. And so obviously one of the habits that I've talked about a bunch is practicing gratitude. Maybe right now, after every episode, maybe you learn how you feel at the end of these episodes is energized and inspired. Maybe that's when you send that one text message to somebody that you're grateful for. Let this podcast be a trigger for you to say, when I listen to an episode, you do what? What is the thing? If you want this stuff to be meaningful in your life, all of the content we're going to be pouring into and we're going to be sharing, Commit to finding a way to using it in your life, not just learning about it, but actually start taking some action and use it, because that's when your life's going to transform. Start stacking habits, stacking moments, and you'll recognize this beautiful life that you've already had inside of you and in front of you. So again, calling you out, calling you up. Think about your new habit for the week. Re-listen to this. My 5 habits completely transformed my life and how I show up for the people that I love, the people that I'm the most grateful for. If you haven't hit subscribe, do that now. And I hope that you win the week as you win this Monday, this Mindset Monday, and commit to your habit for the next 7 days. Share it with somebody so they can help hold you accountable. And I'll remind you, like I do on every single one of these episodes, that you always have the power and the choice, right? The choice to reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until that next episode, never stop.